Hello again, welcome back. Welcome to part 6 of the Recovery Kickstart course. Congratulations for sticking with this. It tells me that you understand the importance of taking responsibility for your health and for taking action to beat chronic fatigue. So here's a big high five from me to you. Now in the last lesson, we spoke about what we needed to remove from your diet, which is a very important first dietary step. In today's lesson, we'll cover what needs to be added in. Now here's a warning. It's important to understand that you can't do both and expect the best outcome. You can't just add the good things in without removing the bad things. And you also can't just remove the bad things. You have to replace them with something good. Furthermore, you can't expect that doing just one or two things out of the whole will have long-lasting and permanent changes. It just doesn't work like that, and you're kidding yourself if you believe that. I strongly recommend that you take it all on board because your body works as a whole and needs all of these recommendations to work. Not just this lesson, but all of the lessons. Think back to the tug of war lessons. The best results come from an all-in process. Okay, so what is the point of diet? The goal for your diet right now is simple: to promote healing. In order to beat chronic fatigue and recover fully, you need to give your body the things that it needs to heal. Think of a house made of bricks. The strength and quality of the house is dependent on the quality of the bricks. If the bricks are bad quality, then the house will crumble in the first storm, or in this example, the first challenge to your health. But if the bricks are strong and top quality, then the house will stand for many years. And when speaking of diet, top quality bricks are the top quality food elements that your body needs. So where to start? Firstly, have you eliminated all the bad stuff as per the last lesson? If not, please go back and start there. If you've done that, then you're ready to move on. Now I understand that everyone is different and there is no one-size-fits-all approach to diet, so please don't take my suggestions here as strict instructions. In this course, I'm going to give you the tools that will help you to build and live a better life. These tools are based on my solid health principles, and they are the foundations that have worked for me and for others to recover from ill health. I want to make it clear that I encourage you to apply this to your life and make it a fit for you. If you're unsure of anything or think that it may impact on your health further, then get in touch with me or speak to your doctor or health professional. Now, every human body is virtually the same in its anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, from person to person all over the world. So with that being the case, it stands to reason that there are principles and foundations for healing, recovery, and optimal health that will apply to virtually everyone, and that's what I'll cover in this lesson. Firstly, your body needs quality protein. You need quality protein for building muscle, joints, skin, organs, and pretty much every other part of your body. Without it, you're depriving your body of the bricks it needs to build. It doesn't matter if you're vegetarian, a vegan, or a meat eater. It doesn't change the fact that your body still needs protein. So what is quality protein? Well, quality protein is any source that has high bioavailability. And that means that the protein is easily absorbed by the body and it contains all of the essential amino acids the body needs, and it's fully utilized by the body. And the best bioavailable protein is from animal sources, full stop. Yes, you can get protein from vegetable sources like pea protein or soy or tofu, nuts and legumes, but the bioavailability is nowhere near that of animal sources, meaning that you're depriving your body of getting an adequate supply. So bang for buck, you're better off just going from animal sources. You should eat between 1 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass per day. That's a good start. Now your body also needs fat. Many parts of your body are made up of fat, including the brain, lots of organs, cell membranes and nerve tissues. Fat is needed to build many chemicals in the body. Hormones require fat for their creation, and cholesterol, which is important as an antioxidant and an anti-inflammatory agent. Without quality fats, all these things cannot be made and their functions are compromised. So what are quality fats? Monounsaturated fats, such as olive oil and avocados. Saturated fats, such as animal fats, dairy, like cheese, butter, cream, and full-fat milk, and coconut oil. And polyunsaturated omega-3 and omega-6 fats, in small amounts to ensure close to a 1-to-1 ratio of omega-3 to omega-6. And this comes from certain nuts and seeds and deep cold sea fish, which is good protein as well. But again, I stress, as I talked about in the last video, polyunsaturated fats must be in the correct ratios. Take care of that and steer clear of the vegetable and seed oils. And don't be scared of fat. Learn more about it and you'll quickly see that it's very good for you and your health, and your body really needs it. Carbohydrates and sugars are a hot topic and are seen as an evil food and will put you into an early grave. But you need to understand that in and of itself, sugar isn't bad or toxic. It's a pure energy form with minimal micronutrition such as vitamins and minerals, which makes it an empty calorie. If you're highly active, that is a regular exercise that depletes your muscles of the sugar stores, then sugar in amounts to support exercise is mostly harmless and actually aids in your body's functioning. Sugar comes in many forms. There's complex carbohydrates like vegetables, simple carbohydrates like bread, pasta, rice, bagels, biscuits, table sugar, which is sucrose, fruit sugar, which is fructose, and many others. The problem comes in three forms: eating too much sugar, eating sugar in forms where there is minimal other nutrition present, and in not having an active lifestyle so your body can adequately utilize all the sugar. Now, in a state of chronic fatigue, number 3 is ever present. You've got a difficulty to have an active lifestyle. So you need to manage the first and second options. So don't eat too much and eat sugar in forms where there's other nutrition present. Now, the best way of doing this is by cutting back, eliminating and avoiding all refined foods and foods with extra sugar added, like we discussed in the previous lesson. And from this point, you can then enjoy a moderate amount and a variety of nutritious carbs that will assist in giving you the energy you need to get through your day, and also the nutrition you need to support your body health. So what are nutritious carbohydrates? All vegetables and fruits in their natural state, not as juices or other refined varieties. So pastas, breads and other grains can be eaten in moderation, but stick to plain white flour and rice varieties. The so-called nutritious and healthy wholemeal and whole grain varieties are actually far worse for you than the refined white varieties. The reason is that the outer husk of these grains contain anti-nutrients, which can inhibit absorption of nutrients from the foods you eat, upset enzyme processes, change cell membrane structures, and deplete your body of other nutrients. These outer husks exist to help the seeds survive when they are eaten. The husk protects the precious DNA inside the seed to ensure it can get out the other end and still be alive to germinate and sprout. That's the purpose of all the so-called nutrients in the husk. They aren't there to help us humans, they're there to help the seed. In contrast, the refined white varieties have had the anti-nutrient husks removed. So in eating the refined grains, you're getting the energy from the carbohydrate sugars within, none of the anti-nutrients, and all the nutrition you need you get from the vegetables and proteins that you eat along with them. Now remember, the more carbohydrates and sugars you eat, the more active you need to be to deal with it. So eat in moderation. Aim for a minimum of 75 to 100 grams of carbohydrates in all forms per day. The lower end if you're less active, and up to 150 if you can manage some activity. The goal here is to heal and recover and beat chronic fatigue. So you need to remember that too many and extra carbohydrate and sugar foods are going to take you further from that goal. Now, the overall aim of your diet is to consistently deliver quality nutrition at a steady rate so you can maintain a stable energy level throughout the day. This gives your body a predictable environment in which to use the nutrition from your diet to heal, repair and recover. The way the body achieves this is through maintaining a stable blood sugar level and not a roller coaster of spikes like you can see here in the picture. Because the foods you eat directly impact the blood glucose level, it's important that you're eating in a way that does not cause the sugar level in your blood to continuously rush up and down and up and down. And these spikes or crashes impact how you feel moment to moment. And this makes the goal of beating your fatigue a constantly moving target and also multiplies over time to worsen your overall health. So if you're trying to beat chronic fatigue and not make it worse, so maintaining a steady blood sugar level is the key part. You can achieve this by following the principles in this lesson: eat in moderation and not overeat. Vegetables are important. Lots of them and in lots of colour. You can't get enough if you mix up the colours and varieties. Vegetable contains many vitamins and minerals and also contain phytochemicals. Think of these phytochemicals as parts of the vegetable that help the vitamins and minerals work best in the body. The best place to start with vegetables is the leafy green varieties such as spinach, silver beet, chard, broccoli, cabbage, kale. These will give you the best bang for buck. Eat lots of them and with every meal. And then add in all the other colours of the rainbow, remembering that a variety is the best. A moderate amount of fruit is good as well, but in smaller amounts compared to vegetables, because fruit has an inherent higher sugar content. Think of fruits as a treat, and that way you'll be approaching them in a smaller and smart and controlled way. Now here's an interesting question. Should you eat meat or be a vegetarian? I've researched heaps about both and I've tried both, And I've found that including animal sourced foods to be much better for my body and for most other people that I've spoken to. It comes down to bioavailability. I mentioned that earlier. And what I like to call non-monetary bang for buck health value. You can certainly get all your body needs from embracing vegetarianism, but it's much harder and you need to be more vigilant. And it also takes eating a larger volume and variety of foods to get all the nutrients that you need. And even then, if you can manage to do that, not all the nutrients in those plants are bioavailable to the body, meaning your body doesn't get everything out of it. Whereas in contrast, animal sourced foods have a greater bang for buck, as you get all that you need from most sources. Animal meat and fat contains all the essential vitamins and minerals your body needs, and you don't need to eat as much of it in order to get it all. So unless you have religious, ethical or moral reasons to avoid meat, there's really no reason to avoid animal sourced foods. We've evolved to survive and thrive on it, and it's really good for your health. What about organic? In short, if you can get it and you can afford it, then yeah, go for it. The closer to natural the food is, the better it will be. But don't go tearing your hair out if you can't access it easily or economically. If you're doing everything else that's covered in this course, missing out on organic is not going to bring everything undone, as long as you avoid those foods that have been processed or overhandled. The difference between organic and non-organic is not that great that you just have to go and chase organic food. Now, much is being said about gut health, or more specifically the gut microbiome. Modern science is discovering the importance of the gut in overall health, but it's something that most cultures around the world have known about for centuries. The gut acts almost like a second brain in the body. It's full of bacteria that helps us digest food and release the nutrients within. Plus, many main chemical transmitters of the brain, like serotonin, are actually made in the gut. So having poor digestive health promotes poor overall health. Looking after the environment inside your gut is important to overall health, especially if you're currently unwell, like you've got chronic fatigue, you're taking medication, or you've recently had an operation or some other trauma. And it's really easy to look after your gut health. If you eat a diet, as we've been talking about in this course, and include prebiotics and probiotics in your diet, then you can build good gut bacteria. Now, you don't need to buy any specific powders or formulations to get these pre and probiotics. Just eat things like sauerkraut, pickled vegetables, cultured foods like kombucha or kefir or kimchi, and cultured dairy like yogurt or milk kefir. All of these are excellent sources of pre and probiotics. So don't underestimate the power of your gut health. What about supplements? Well, the short answer is no, not really, but only if you're following these suggested dietary principles and eating a variety of foods across the spectrum as we've discussed. If you're not or you can't, then you will benefit from supplementing. Supplements are best beneficial if you're missing out on certain nutrients, and that's the definition of the word supplement, to add something to. Having said that, in the world we live today, there's an overall reduced nutrient value of our food. There's degrading soil quality. There are many more pollutants and use of chemicals in food production. So supplementing is good insurance. And this is especially so if you can't guarantee that you're getting everything you need. If you do choose to supplement, then the best thing to do is ensure you're taking a high quality supplement made from whole, real, organic food sources and not laboratory made formulations. Unless the supplement contains real and whole food sources, then it's missing the bits that naturally occur in the food, which help the vitamins work in the body. So the best supplements are those that contain the whole foods that have been dehydrated with fiber removed. And they're just packed and concentrated food full of all the vitamins, minerals and phytochemicals your body needs. Next is salt. Now don't be scared of salt. It adds flavor, it makes food much more interesting to cook with, and it makes food much tastier to eat. And just like fat, if you do some research, you'll find that salt is not as bad for your body as it's been made out to be. Medical research is just starting to come around to this concept, and I'll cover salt more in later topics of the blog. Obviously in moderation, you don't overdose it, but don't avoid it. Drinking water. Water is really what your body needs. It helps hydrate, it provides a means for your body to flush out and waste material and toxins. There's no need to drink juices because these are mostly sugar. Black tea or coffee, as these are stimulants, and energy drinks, sodas and everything else will just make it worse for you. If you can't tolerate plain water, add some mint leaves, lemon juice or cucumber and give the water a bit of flavour and a bit of energy. Herbal and green teas are okay as well. They've got some good properties for health, but don't add any sugars or sweeteners. So just keep it simple, Drink water as nature intended. And one last thing to say whilst we're talking about diet is to not eat too much. You don't need as much food as you think you do, and we live in a world of excess. If you focus on good quality protein, fats, and a variety of vegetables, then you'll get all the energy and nutrition that you need from a smaller overall amount of food, and you won't be hungry. Good rule of thumb is to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. Over time, this will result in you eating less, and this is a good thing. Eating less gives your body more energy to focus on other things, like healing and recovery, and not being bogged down in digestion all the time. Eating less also gives the body an opportunity to break down unwanted and unneeded cells and eliminate them. Some of these cells are the poorly constructed ones from your soon-to-be past chronic fatigue life. Now, if you're interested, you may want to explore the concept of intermittent fasting. This is where you go extended periods of time without eating, like 12 to 18 hours once every 10 days to 2 weeks. Although it's been shown in the scientific literature to not be a benefit in weight loss, there is evidence coming to light that fasting gives your body a chance to rest the digestion and catch up in areas like repair and healing and recovery departments. Bingo, just what you need. Well, that's it. The end of my crash course in using diet for healing. I've covered a lot in this, so thanks for sticking with me. And as I said at the start of the lesson, diet is easily more than 50 to 60% of recovering from chronic fatigue. So your action steps here. First and foremost, for recovery from chronic fatigue, diet must focus on healing and to allow the rebuilding of your body. The house we spoke about, one quality brick at a time. Everything I've talked about this and the last lesson does exactly this. In my journey in recovery, I tried many things with diet to get better. A lot was mostly trial and error, but in the end I found what I've just shared with you in this slide and the last to be the best starting points, and it's worked best for me and the other people I've helped. These are solid health principles and foundations, but as I mentioned, I know that all people are different, so you're welcome to experiment. I encourage you to start with these principles and then go about experimenting from here. So lastly, I've distilled the main elements of this slide into a cheat sheet for you to download, and you can get it below this video. So have a great few days and enjoy fueling up your diet for health and recovery. So all the best in the coming days, and I look forward to chatting to you then. Bye.